All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning, hour number 3, Tuesday, September 23rd, right here on Jocks, 9 a.m. Listen online, jocksfn.com. Apps in your app store, iPhone, Android. You can download that for free. Also, tell your home smart speaker to enable the Jock skill. You can tune in that way. 800-239-9569 if you want to get in. 800-239-WJOX. Talking resumes, people that are proven. Teams that are proven. Who has proven the most? And when you go through, we kind of did it for the SEC there, Greg, but if we went more on a national scale, and we already had our discussion about Ohio State, I think Miami is one team that we would not have to have the conversation about.
No. They've played some teams now. Miami's
South Florida,
played a
really
very
good
difficult
team.
schedule.
Florida, talented team. Defense has played great. Offense, lost. Notre Dame, solid football team. They're proven. Very proven. In Penn State, I think this is where a lot of people fall into who do you think you are, I am, or not.
Got him.
Nevada, FIU, Villanova. Now, we're going to find out this weekend.
About to say.
Oregon, 6:30 on NBC and Peacock, what you really are. Are we saying the same thing about Oregon, though?
Yes.
Montana State, Oklahoma State, Northwestern, Oregon State.
I think one of the biggest things that we'll figure out this weekend is that which one of those two teams will actually respond to adversity. Like, how do they respond to getting hit in the face?
Unlike Illinois last weekend.
Well, don't get me started with them.
It feels like they didn't have a great response, but
that is accurate.
Okay.
They didn't respond very well to getting a punt blocked, and then next thing you know is, well, they scored actually the next drive, and after that, it was all she wrote. But it was. I think Indiana's really good. So I think that was more about how good Indiana is and less about how bad Illinois is.
Okay.
But I do think in that game specifically, right, Oregon is a very young team. They are very young. Across the board, I don't know what the collective age is, but I would imagine it's among one of the younger teams in the, quote, contender tier in college football. So when looking at that, then coupled with their first legitimate hardcore road trip, that's challenging. Coupled that with whiteout, extra challenging. Primetime environment, extra challenging. And then you have a seasoned team in Penn State who, albeit has kind of gone through the motions in the first 3 weeks, they've been to the top of the totem pole before. So like they know what it's going to feel like to play a, quote, playoff environment type of game. So I lean a little bit right now, and we'll make those picks, 4 days from now or whatever, but I'm kind of leaning towards Penn State, to be honest with you.
Wow. Okay. That would be intriguing. Indiana, we were saying that before this weekend. We both think Illinois is a good team, and you handle them the way you did. You get past the Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, Indiana State resume into, okay, you've now proven something.
Yep.
Still a long way to go, but that's going to be the case with any of these teams that we talk about. Georgia, as Kid Bama Kid tweets in, may have the best win in college football or at least in the SEC. And we would agree with that. We think the Tennessee win's really good. Now, Austin P. Marshall, not winning a lot of points with those. And we lightly brought up Oklahoma in our previous conversation, but the Michigan win, nice. The Auburn win, nice. That's a team that I think you can have this conversation about because they do have multiple proven wins against quality teams. And you sit back and say, yeah, we should believe in you because of the teams you've knocked off. Now, Florida State, because they've handled Kent State and, goodness, East Texas A&M, what they did in Alabama, we feel pretty comfortable saying, yeah, we think you're a good football team, but hasn't been multiple instances yet. A lot of teams don't have one, much less more than one. So then we get down into the discussions of, your Tennessees, Georgia Techs, Vanderbilt's, Ole Miss, Iowa State's. And I think once we get down and we talked about Missouri, Michigan, a team that lost to Oklahoma but knocks off Nebraska, and New Mexico Central, Michigan I think they're battle tested. I would say up to this point, about as good as you can be.
It's all you can ask for. They've at least played some folks with a pulse.
We talked about TCU, very good, not very good. Do we know? Do we not know?
Probably don't know.
You win at North Carolina week 1, which is hard. Abilene and then SMU. We're going to find out more against Arizona State on the road. this weekend, so we will know. I think TCU has a chance to be a pretty good football team. Now, do I think they're going to be a little one-dimensional as far as how they can win? Probably. But they got a quarterback that can pull the trigger. I know that.
Sure.
You're high on USC. That's a team with a pretty convincing win against Michigan State. A lot against Michigan State in that game with the injury and what happened. The time at Purdue, okay, I don't really know. Georgia Southern, Missouri State, but USC might be a team that's better than a lot of people are giving them credit for right now.
I think they've so far through the first few weeks been one of the more impressive teams I've watched.
They've got some skill now.
They got some skill. They won last week without arguably their best receiver. They can get after you up front defensively too. Like I mean, I'm telling you, I think the defensive front, the amount of times they apply pressure and didn't close last week was pretty surprising, but they got 16 sacks on the season. Like they have some length on the defensive front with their pass rush that's different. They just have length. And we'll see how it works out against real offensive lines and personnel. Like, I don't know how good Michigan State is. I don't know, but I do know that those guys were creating some problems. And they, if not for some miracles that Aiden Childs pulled off, that could have been 10 sacks the other night.
Yeah, but here's what we know. Jonathan Smith's teams are going to be physical. They're going to be tough. Like, that's how he's going to build them. And whether or not you have the personnel to truly be that right now, it's still a good test because that's where he wants to test you.
Sure.
And you have a quarterback that's athletic that can make plays in Aiden Childs. So I'm going to give you some credit for it. Where are we on Texas Tech in this conversation? Because we were all high on Utah, and you smash them on the road. Oregon State is not what they were. They're a shell of themselves, but you handled them. Kent State, worst team maybe in Division I, and then Arkansas Pine Bluff. But they've handled everybody they've played. And they have played some teams with talent and ability that we felt like were capable. So where does that put Texas Tech in your mind?
I think they're real. I really do. Watching their defense, watching their defensive front, they can get after you. They can rush the passer. They can anchor down. Like they got 2 or 3 guys on the defensive front can play for anybody. Nobody wants to acknowledge that, but they can play for anybody. Like you take 2 or 3 guys off that defensive line, they're playing at Bama, they're playing at Auburn, they're playing at Texas. Like those guys could play anywhere. I also kind of like so far what I've seen from their 2 running backs. They have 2 running backs that are dudes. I mean, like dudes. And they can kill you in the passing game. They're quick. They're shifty. They have some open field speed. I think their wideouts are fine. I don't think their wideouts are elite. I think their backs are big time. And I love what I've seen from their front 7 defensively. Those are the 2 areas where it's like, all right, they're different this year for sure.
Yeah. Baron Morton already over 1,000 yards passing, 11 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. So
scary hit last week, got knocked out. Like it was, hope he's okay in the long term, but a little scary.
Do we have an update on the kid from Michigan State, by the way?
I haven't heard anything.
I haven't seen anything. And that was one of the more disturbing exits from a field that I've seen in a long time because you got nothing as he was being taken off the field. And I haven't seen any updates on that. So I just was curious to see if anybody saw it. I actually looked yesterday and still didn't see anything. So I don't know what that situation is. All right, rolling into this weekend and what we're going to find out, what we're going to know. This is a weekend, Greg, that we're going to start to figure out about some of these teams. Now, Virginia, by the way, is different. Virginia has been knocking on the doormat of the league for a while, the last couple of years, but now Chandler Morris has got the passing game going.
Correct.
Like Chandler Morris has over 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns and 1 pick. They all of a sudden have an offense that can get it. I mean, Trell Harris, Cam Ross at wide receiver, they're capable on offense now.
Correct.
So they're a very different football team.
They got a couple dudes at wideout, and I think Chandler Morris is a good quarterback at the college level. Like that Trell Harris kid he's got juice.
It'll be a test for Florida State, and that's a Friday night game on the road. So you don't just roll into Charlottesville on a Friday night to the Scott and think you're going to get a win.
Put it this way, like if Florida State goes on the road and wins this game by 2 touchdowns, they're going to get a lot of credit from me. I don't know if they'll get a lot of credit from the national pundits.
I can answer that for you. They won't.
They won't, but I'm just telling you that's going to be That to me will be an impressive performance if they can go on the road and get that win.
And also Friday night, one that we talked about, TCU at Arizona State. We'll see about Josh Hoover and TCU, how real they are. Obviously, Arizona State going down to Mississippi State, but still a good football team. That one will be intriguing. USC to Illinois, Saturday morning. We're talking about these two teams is Illinois maybe way off where we thought they were? Is USC maybe ahead? Some might say way ahead of where they thought they were. Now, you got to go to Memorial Stadium for an 11 a.m. kick, which this is the reverse psychology for USC, who just got Michigan State super late. Now they got to go super early.
Mm-hmm.
That's a weird turnaround time.
Very.
I'll be interested to see how they handle that. And then you're still going to get some physicality from Illinois, and that's going to be the question for USC. Like I asked USC, for me, it's the Gatorade question. Like, is it in you? Do you have that stuff in you? Because doing all the pretty stuff is really cool for them. The gritty stuff is where they've struggled. It does look like it's a little different this year. I'm not going to say completely revamped, but it does look a little different. And I think that's a good test.
Have you watched the right side of their offensive line yet?
I have. Yeah,
pretty good.
I'm with
right?
you. I like the right guard. He pulls extremely well.
The right guard can go.
He does a good job with his hands. He shoots his hands inside on almost every snap. He's a solid player. But I just mean collectively. Sometimes that's you get hit with 2 touchdowns early in the game. How do you react?
Do you think, honestly, do you think their personnel at Illinois has any chance in this game?
From a stylistic perspective, I think they have a chance. Yeah, they're going to slow this game down.
They're going to try. The problem is they have nobody. Right now, their secondary is absolutely battered. They went into the season, lost their top corner. They lost their top corner in the game last week. Their backup corner got hurt and was I think on crutches in that game as well, or was not available as well. So like their top 3 corners are down against this group. That's a huge problem.
It is, but this is also a game that USC could potentially be sleepwalking through. And I think you have to at least take that into consideration. Guy for guy, dude for dude, no, I don't think Illinois matches up well, but I think you think about when this game is, where this game is, and with just what we're doing right now, how many people are doing that to where USC hears it? And I don't think they're a great team when they hear how great they are.
Fair.
So Notre Dame and Arkansas. You brought this one up a few minutes ago. 11 a.m., Razorback Stadium, Arkansas coming off an ugly loss that you had. So this is very similar to the Auburn situation with Hugh Freeze at Oklahoma. Some of the penalties, some of the throws, some of the different things, some of the no calls. Are you able to get over that? Can these kids at Arkansas move past a ball being punched out with a minute left in the game that you're in field goal range and you can potentially put it away and you lose the game to go play against a team that's going to give you all you can handle?
It's a hard one to bounce back from, not going to lie. Now, in saying that, I think Tayen Green is as unstoppable a force at his best as there is right now in the sport. Like, he is that level good. Now, are there occasional lapses in decision making? Sure.
Oh, yeah.
But his best might be better than anybody. Like, it's that good. So if you look at what's going on with Notre Dame right now, they are down their top corner potentially in Leonard Moore. They now have a ton of true freshmen in the back end defensively as a result of some injuries. Like, the one area where they could not sustain injuries is at corner. They've had a couple already. They now are going to be taking on a group that has struggled to they've made some mistakes for sure, but they're a handful. They can run the ball. And here's the other thing. Notre Dame has not been able to apply pressure just yet. I think they have 4 sacks this year, which is a huge, huge contrast from what we saw last year.
We didn't see that coming.
No, at all.
Especially
they had
with Young
decent
on the
edge
outside.
guys. Like, I like their edge guys going into the year. So I think it's a problem for Notre Dame this weekend. I do. And I think if Arkansas can keep a clean sheet and not turn it over, I like their chances an awful lot.
Okay.
Which way are you leaning right now with that one?
I was thrown off by the Arkansas defense last week because
it wasn't good the week before.
But I thought they had some good pieces and they were going to be able to somewhat put it together. and be able to figure some things out. And we knew that Ryan was going to go in there and try to offer up a master class on gap scheme runs with quarterback runs thrown into it and moving the quarterback and getting you out of your spots. And they were able to do it.
Yep.
And I thought Arkansas' speed at linebacker, and they had been good enough with Ball and 97 up front, would be problematic because I didn't love the Memphis offensive line when I watched them. Now, the scheme is great. We know that. But I didn't think they were just going to be able to push people, move people. But they get their shot plays, and they stick with the run. They stay with their plan. And that's how they won this game, honestly, other than the fumble. But they found explosives, and they ran the ball.
Well, you got to admit, I mean, they should not have won the game. I mean, so they were fortunate. Doesn't mean you need to apologize for it. They were fortunate.
Made a big play.
And they did. They made a big play and punching it out, too. It's not like it was just given away because of a missed mesh point on his own read. Like they took it away. It wasn't given to them. But this game in general was Arkansas's to lose. And I think they took their foot off the gas when they were sitting there up 28-10 and kind of exhaled and got for it. So I think last week was very much an Arkansas issue, more so than it was a look at how good Tulane is.
Look how good.
Look how good.
So that one's going to be a fun one. I do agree because Tayen Green is the ultimate neutralizer. And I have an interesting number on him that I want to get to on the other side. Coach Harris tweeting us an update here. I'll get to that too and update you on Michigan State, what's happening there. First, I want to tell you about Game Day Men's Health. If you are lacking sleep, lacking energy, feeling on edge, Game Day Men's Health wants to help you. Go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com right now. Sign up for the free consultation with that. Free PSA test, free testosterone test. They're going to give you an idea where your baseline health is. Then they present the options that they have. Testosterone replacement, weight loss, peptides, all in stock. You save 10% of it when you mention that you heard them on Mac and Cube in the morning. Go talk about what you need improved with your health with Game Day Men's Health. Get a free consultation at GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Open now in Trustville, GameDayMen'sHealth.com. All right, we'll update you on Michigan State and get you a Tayen Green number next on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning, 9:21, Tuesday, September 23rd, right here on Jocks. Tayen Green, Greg, Arkansas quarterback. By my count, I did this in the last segment during the break. I could be off here. Has 13 games against Power 5 opponents in his career. In 8 of those 13 games, he's thrown an interception.
Yes.
10 total interceptions.
Yes.
So I have 20 of his 37 total games he has thrown an interception in. So there has not been a ton specifically against better opponents playing overall clean football for Tayen Green. Now, that doesn't take into consideration how many he's thrown or run for, because there's been a lot. But backing up your point of the goods are really good. The bad sometimes can be bad for Tayen Green.
The goods are absurd. The bads are bad. He's not that dissimilar to Milroe. Like, the goods are good. The bads are bad. But one thing I've noticed in his evolution this year is he is capable of threading it over the middle. I don't feel like it very many situations last year where I felt like he was working the intermediate throws over the middle. And I feel like he's doing that quite a bit now, relatively speaking. And maybe I'm misremembering last year, but I don't think I am. I just don't feel like he ever tried much over the middle last year, and that's been a big part of what he's done so far.
I think it's been a little bit more than it was in the past, no doubt about it. So that one's going to be a good one that we begin to spin forward to this weekend. And Tayen Green's going to have a big hand in that one. Arkansas got to stop the run. And I do think that right now Notre Dame may be a little more one-dimensional than Memphis was. It doesn't mean the personnel is the same across the board. I get that. But still trying to grow into being a team that can lean on both sides offensively. It feels like there have been times when they just haven't utilized the run, and then times when they can't necessarily get the pass going.
Sure.
So a little schizophrenic that Notre Dame offense has been. Interested to see kind of what the plan is, because I don't know if they think they can just push the Arkansas front around. So if that's not the case, then how do you generate it, and what do you go to next? I'll be interested to see what Denbrock's plan is for that game.
I think they're going to throw it all over the yard. Like, I think they kind of are starting to figure out very few people recognize what they are better than Denbrock. Like, Denbrock does a great job of saying, all right, this is what we are.
Yep.
Like, I don't want to be this, but this is what we are. And this is what we need to lean into. For example, last year, like, you think he wanted to run quarterback power as often as he ran quarterback power, quarterback sweep, right? Like, he didn't want to do that. He just had to. That's what they were. That's what they did well. So he does adjust and adapt very, very well to his personnel and what they're comfortable with. And I think he knows that he's got a quarterback that can rip it. Like, CJ Carr's a dude. He's real deal. So that's encouraging. But I think there still needs to be more of a place. So far, through 3 games, 52 carries for Jeremiah Love. I think that number will continue. I think you're probably going to be expecting between 16 and 20 carries a game from him moving forward. I think it's going to be they need to work a little more on the perimeter too. He's so good on the edges and so good in the alleys. Like, I would hit the alleys in their run game. I think they could do that somewhat pretty well. So,
because Arkansas condense the front at times, they'll play some 3 down, and I think you've got good edges off the tackle that they'll give it. That's where Memphis had a lot of success.
Right.
Is running counter power off tackle, and maybe you can find some of that same success this weekend. I'm interested in your game this weekend. It's early, but just some early thoughts on sort of what you're watching, where this game most likely going to be won. Because I had LSU last weekend, had Ole Miss week 1. I've obviously watched every snap that they both played this year, but I'm just interested kind of. Oh yeah. The being at the Georgia State game was big. Congrats to me.
It was an intriguing game.
I mean, yeah, the rivalry game this past weekend was huge.
Selah. Gosh, you are in the hole. We got to get you out.
I don't think it's going to happen.
We got to get him out. I thought my smiling
offer up
face.
more Southwest flights on Monday night through Chicago, and I'll probably get out of it.
Oh no, there he goes. In the hole again.
Holman. Yeah, it's fine.
Holman.
Where are you looking right now first as to sort of how and why this game's going to be decided?
Tell me this. Can LSU run the ball?
Who knows?
That's how you know. Well, it's not like they haven't tried.
Can't tell you yes or no.
It's not like they haven't tried.
They haven't been dedicated to it.
They haven't been dedicated to it, but they've tried more than last year. They're just, unfortunately for them, averaging 3.7 a carry.
But I will say this, a lot of that's been on the backs too, man. You watch the backs and sort of their tracks and sort of where they have cut balls a little bit too early and try to bounce balls a little bit too early. There's not a great feel. And sometimes it's been the O-line, sometimes it's been tight ends, sometimes it's been the look, sometimes it's been defensive movement. But there have been plenty of opportunities for the backs to gain a few more yards than what they've come away with based on how things were blocked and designed.
Same page.
And I think like I know, that doesn't just change.
No.
Kind of like when you got a group that can't really push people. Like people are asking me about Oklahoma's run game. Like, is it scheme? Is it the scheme? Like, no, you got to have some people that can move somebody. You got to block back and wall a guy off and not let him cross your face and go make the play 2 gaps over. Like, same thing with Auburn's offensive line. Like, you had to know that was a group that was going to offer up movement. They didn't anticipate that movement very well at all. Specifically when 44 is sitting there in a sprinter stance pointed at your center playing D-end. You think he's coming up field? A little bit of anticipation of what's coming your way has to happen at some point. So I don't know if they can run the ball because, number one, Greg, is it all going to work out from the offensive line blocking it, the running backs understanding where it needs to go, and then on top of that, G-Mac, are they ever going to even up the formations on a consistent basis that is going to force the defense to give them better looks to run the ball into? That's what's probably not going to happen. I mean, they told us that Nussmeier doesn't like to drop out of pistol. So if you're just going to remove that formation because your quarterback doesn't like to drop out of it, you're limiting what the defense has to be concerned about in the run game.
Yeah.
How many runs can you really offer up with shotgun offset to one side?
Very few, but I sent you one Texas Tech Utah that I think would be advantageous for everybody to install.
Yeah.
Play 64. Sweet. Anyways, here's my thing. Right now, LSU is going too far in the direction, in my opinion, to being a ball control offense. They're going too far in that direction. And maybe some of that has to do with the ab injury, oblique injury, torso injury, midsection injury to Garrett Nussmeier, and the limited reps that he got throughout fall camp and the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season. Maybe it has something to do with that. Because right now, I don't like, and this is just me, I kind of said the same thing about Florida. Like right now, they're doing motion on 56% of their snaps. Like there's pre-snap movement on well over 50% of their snaps. That to me is creating unnecessary confusion, and it disrupts the rhythm of your offense. I can live with motion, but like motion with urgency, or
a purpose.
Short motion, like speed motion. Do a ghost motion where a guy's behind it and you got some things like I feel like their offense right now is a little stagnant, and it's funny because I just talked about motion and now I'm saying it's stagnant. It
doesn't work.
It's just a little bit. I don't feel like their motion is necessarily doing them a lot of favors. I think LSU is a team that will operate best offensively with a little urgency, with a little tempo. You got great weapons, get your best 11 on the field, and that might very well be 3 wide receivers and a tight end and a running back. Or how about this? 4 wide receivers, a tight end, and no running back. Because I got to be honest with you, I'm not in love with their backs. I think they're fine. I think they're solid. I think they're okay. I don't think Caden Durham is a, perennial All-American candidate. I don't know if he's a first-team All-SEC type of guy. So, but guess what? I think all 4 of their receivers can go. All of them.
Yes.
Like all 4 of those guys are dudes, like big dudes. So put Xavier Thomas in the backfield.
You got another one waiting too. The young kid, 17. He's got real juice.
Talking about Tayen Green?
No,
he's 14.
He's 14. Jelani Watkins. He got a little run in our game. I'm telling you, he's got juice. They like him too. He's like a slot guy.
Yeah. Well, they got 2 get in line because you got Aaron Anderson, you got Xavier Thomas right now. So I'm pretty optimistic about about what they have at wide receiver. I think Xavier Thomas, just from a football player standpoint, is about as explosive as you'll find. Like, I love that kid. So I would put him in the backfield, and I would do 5-man protection to get everybody out. 5-man protection to get everybody out. Let Nussmeier just kind of pick you apart. And then at some point, like, we got to see him start pushing the ball down the field a little bit. Like, we haven't really seen it yet. And I understand what LSU is trying to be. Brian Kelly knows it's a long game. Like, he wants to play 15, 16 games this year. He wants to play 16 or 17 games. Like, so he knows that, hey, we are right now 1/4 of the way through it. Got a long way to go. No need to go too much. No need to have too much snap exposure. Like, he's playing the long game here. But at some point, I want to see the offense move with a little more urgency and kind of abandon the, quote, ball control mindset that they've tried to implement this year. I get why they're doing it. I just don't think it's in the best interest of their long-term offensive development.
All right, so sorry, I just saw something that's just, I can't even deal with all this right now. A couple things that I got this weekend. Apparently, Nuss had an injection a couple weeks ago, and he should be on the tail end of it right now, as far as the recovery of whatever it was that was going on with him.
Okay,
that's what Brian Kelly told me before the game.
Knee, ab.
I think it's more the abdominal, oblique, core, whatever. From the standpoint of the tempo, I can't tell you where I got this one, but I also know the quarterback wants more of it.
More tempo.
He wants to do it.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
He feels more comfortable doing it. He feels like he can have more success doing that, and he just feels like he operates better when they're doing it.
You can tell.
So, but then you got Brian Kelly telling me before the game that they went and got back in 3-point stances last week because their offensive line doesn't know how to fire off the ball, which I do agree with to an extent. But all of that being said, with what you just said, it doesn't bring a clear picture into what they want the offense to be or what it realistically is going to be moving forward.
Yes.
And this is not a great defense they're playing, but I do think it's a complicated defense they're playing. And I don't just mean that because of scheme.
Right.
I mean it because you have some guys that individually can make some plays, even if they're not supposed to make those plays. Like, you got guys, like 51 can be a problem inside.
Big time.
For anybody. Now, pad level gets a little high at times. His feet, the Ole Miss D-line's got to figure out their base. Their feet come together too much and they get knocked over a lot. If that improves, they can be pretty good. And the other kid, like, I think it was 52 at D tackle this week. He made some plays, man.
Yeah.
He's a good little player. And we talked about Four earlier. Like, he's all over the place. Freaking all over the place. And you got some safeties that are a little capable. So you got to be careful with this one, G-Mac, because this, I don't think it's a top 3, top 5 defense in the league, but they have guys. It's a complicated scheme, but they also have guys that complicate it more because of individually what they can do.
Right.
There are spots that you can get it, but you just got to be careful with it. So we'll continue talking about that. Before we do, tell our listeners about Crocker Moving Services.
A local company owned by an Iraq War veteran, Eric Crocker. Crocker believes in hiring movers you can trust to complete full background checks and run drug tests on every single employee. These are good guys. You can trust them in your home. Whether they need your whole home packed to move your company headquarters moved across country, or you just want to come rearrange your living room, these guys got you covered. They also do deliveries for furniture that you've purchased and need to get to your home. So call or visit them online today for a free quote. The website is CrockerMovingServices.com. That's CrockerMovingServices.com. Support your veterans by choosing Crocker Moving Service for your next move.
All right, we'll get to a break. Some breaking news on a former Auburn football player we'll share with you next, right here on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. It's 9:38. Couple more segments to go right here on Jocks. I'm going to go ahead and get to Bromberg's, GMAC, if you don't mind. Tell our listeners about them.
Yeah, if you're looking to turn your unworn jewelry into something valuable, bring it to Bromberg's. Their annual jewelry buying event, 2 days only. Go to brombergs.com to learn more. It's October 7th and 8th at the Summit. You can sell your diamonds, jewelry, watches, even silver flatware for immediate payment, or get 120% of your offer in Bromberg store credits. It's a 20% bonus if you decide to just trade it in for something new and nice and beautiful at Bromberg's. With 190 years of trusted expertise, Bromberg's makes the process easy, transparent, and secure. Don't wait. Appointments fill up fast. Call Bromberg's at the Summit today.
So we haven't really mentioned Shawn Clark yet, former App State head coach who passed away at 50. Had a health emergency a couple of weeks ago, went to the hospital, got out, and apparently things were looking better. And then complications, he passes away. If you hadn't met Shawn Clark, he was awesome. He was one of a kind. He was the epitome of an offensive line coach, always fun. And it's like I was scrolling through my DMs with him after I saw it, and it's just like you just hate it. You see the pictures of he and his wife and his children, and you just can't imagine it. And then I just see that TMZ's reporting that Rudy Johnson passed away at 45. Dude was just awesome, man. Like, he was just an awesome human being. And he gave us exactly what we needed at Auburn. Like Tuberville and Eddie Gran went and got him from Butler Community College. He and Daniel Cobb came in together, and he was the exact opposite of a personality that you would anticipate from a star running back. He wanted none of the credit. He wanted none of the attention. He wanted his offensive line to get it, the receivers to get it, the quarterbacks to get it, the defense to get it. He didn't want any of that. He always had a smile on his face. He was always excited to see you, and just he was a bulldozer. Like, our offensive line wasn't that good. Like, Kendall Simmons was really good. Mike Pasilla was good, but, I mean, me and Hard McGarry were just try-hard guys. You know, Tim Castro, Colin Sears would get in there, and then Colin was super talented, but, I mean, Tim Castro was kind of like us, just like a try-hard guy who transferred from Georgia Tech and got in there and gave us some good reps. Like, I mean, we didn't have like bulldozing tight ends or anything. We had a good scheme that Noel Mazzoni called. We had a smart quarterback in Ben Leard who had zero mobility. And we had some tough receivers like T-Rob. And Rudy just got it done, man. Like, Heath Evans was a good fullback. He helped us. But he was just an awesome player. He was an awesome kid. I just can't believe it. I really can't. I'm struggling with it right now, Greg.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. I mean, and your teammates too, like,
this is like 3 of my teammates in the last year, and that's hard. I don't understand it.
It's awful.
I don't get it.
It's just absolutely awful. Like, I know going through it and losing teammates, and it's just a relationship. Like, even if you never talk, even if you never see each other, you never catch up, but like, you just went through the ringer together. Like, you go through so much, and some of the hardest times of your life, some of the best times of your life.
We were picked to finish last in the West going into my senior year.
Right.
And, you know, I lost my position going into my senior year, didn't start the first game, didn't really start to the Iron Bowl. So that was a lot of not fun. Ended up being awesome, though. Won the Iron Bowl, you know, went to the Citrus Bowl, went to the SEC championship game, voted a permanent team captain by my teammates. He was probably one that was standing in front of everybody saying, "Don't vote me for that, Rudy." That's what he would have done. And like you said, that offseason was not fun. That was still Tuberville's get everybody out of here, get the guys we really need in here.
Right.
I mean, Daniel Cobb and Rudy, those were like emergency guys that they went and got to like just kind of barely be able to hold us over. And he ended up being a star, man. Like, he was unbelievable. And thankfully we had some younger guys. Like, that's when like Reggie Torbor was coming in, Dontarius Thomas, Spencer Johnson. I give those dudes so much credit for what they did to us on scout team. Like, those guys took no prisoners on scout team. Yeah. We hated them. Love them now. Spencer Johnson, awesome dude. Reggie, awesome guy. but could not stand those guys on scout team because they didn't care. They did not care, and they made us better. But we don't do any of that without Rudy Johnson, man. I think if Tommy Tuberville was sitting here only talking football right now, he would tell you that Rudy Johnson was probably the single most important guy that helped turn things around at Auburn because he gave us a physicality. He gave us a high percentage lean in games that we didn't have. Like you could just turn and hand him the ball and we were going to be okay. He was going to figure it out.
Yep.
And that allowed Ben to hit play action shots. And we had pretty good tight end Robert Johnson. We had a bunch of older receivers like Clifton Robinson that just had been around for a long time. Like you see our senior picture going into that year, and there was like a bunch of us that we just hung around. We just hung out. Today's college football, that would never happen. We wouldn't have all been there together, but a bunch of us came in together. And we thought, you fire the coach that recruits us, you go get this new coach that said he would never leave the other place, so a lot of people don't like him. We didn't know what we were going to get. They come in and literally try to run us into the ground for 2 straight off seasons. We didn't think we were going to be that good. And then you go add a couple guys. You have a bunch of older dudes that know how to do the things you're asking them to do and do it the right way. And we had a lot of fun our senior year, man. Like you said, went through some really hard times, went through some fun times. A lot of times it molded all of us. But that was a dude that never – I'll be the first one to tell you there were days I wanted to quit.